Hey guys, it's Uni Sherman, back with another full-length YouTube review, and today we're going to be reviewing the SH Figuarts Venom There Be Carnage. Getting right into it and taking a look at the box, it's really nice actually. I'm usually not one that really sticks around or like pays attention to the boxes, but this is nice. SH Figuarts I think outdid themselves. We have a nice image of Carnage right there, not of the figure, but it's just a nice promotional image of Carnage. We have Venom There Be Carnage right there, Carnage. We got all of our company logos. You can see you guys saw all of the pretty promotional images on the sides. Right there you have Carnage, his eyes. At the bottom you got all your legalese. And honestly, the biggest difference between this and regular packaging for SHF is one, it's huge. So the figure inside is probably massive. And two, you can't actually see it. So we have no idea what it is we're getting or what we're getting ourselves into. So yeah, on that note, let's go ahead and open this figure right up. Taking the figure out of the packaging, you will be greeted firstly with a very simple, very basic instruction booklet, but I honestly don't think we're gonna need it. It's just pop stuff on, get the figure out, you know. Right here, we have this massive tray. Like, this figure is huge, and it might not translate on camera, but this guy is big. You got all of his accessories laid out very nicely. I'm not sure if I was expecting more or less, but we're definitely going to see once we go into the accessory segment. But yeah, there's your tray that you're going to be receiving with all your accessories and the figure. Getting the actual figure out on the display, no box, no tray, it looks awesome. Like, the first thing that jumped out to me was definitely the height. I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised at how tall this figure actually is. Venom was actually bigger than the Legends one, and this is way bigger than that, which for an SH Figuarts figure, especially considering how imports, whether that be Mafex or SH Figuarts or any import in general really, they run smaller, especially smaller than domestic figures. Getting like an import this big is just so cool to me, and I'm gonna cheat, break my own rule, and just show you guys that is huge. Like, that's a really big difference. And because of that extra height, it just makes him look so much more monstrous. He has a very nice, like, hefty nature to him, which makes him feel more high quality. Obviously that might not have been intentional, but he just feels and looks so good firsthand. He has this very nice, like, veiny, sculpted, grainy texture all throughout the body. And with black paint, I think that they might have been able to do like maybe more of a black wash to make everything kind of more gross and everything, but overall it looks really nice. I will get into these ports later. You can't remove them sadly, but yeah, these like sculpted tentacles are so cool. Stuff that they didn't, well, I guess they didn't really need to do. It looks so monstrous. I can't get over it. And then the eyes have this very nice glossy texture, making them look like super wet. His teeth are all yellowed and gross, and I just think that that is so cool in my opinion. Going over this figure's articulation real quick, it is pretty standard SH Figuarts, but that does mean that you get some very nice range out of all the joints. If it ain't broke, essentially don't fix it. For starters, his head can look all the way up, and it's on a hinge right there, which is really surprising. It's not a ball joint, it's not a double ball joint, it's just a hinge, which does get it a lot higher, but there is also a double ball joint at the bottom. So he looks all the way up, he looks down, he gets okay tilt, not bad. You can obviously get a swivel out of that. He has a butterfly joint in there with a cap over it, so you can move it all different directions. You can move it forward about that much, so nothing crazy. So okay, you have a swivel in there, takes you all the way around. You can hinge out, and there's also a bicep swivel up there, so you can't swivel it up there, but you can also swivel it down here, which is really nice. You have double jointed elbows, which go very far, pretty much all the way. You have a ball joint in there, or a hinge and swivel in there, so you can go in and out, but if you wanted to, you could rotate it and then go up and down, which is nice, and we usually see that on imports. I believe right here we have that SH Figuarts style crunch on the bottom. You can't really see it. It doesn't get a whole lot of range, but it's pretty much a ball joint that faces this way, and it connects to a socket, so you can't really get a whole lot of like, oh, I guess I was wrong. You can turn, but in here is just a regular dumbbell joint, so you can go down about that much, go forward or back pretty good, Not a whole lot though. It's crashing into that right there. You don't get a lot of tilt at all. And then again, obviously you have your swivel, and it's very tight, so just be careful. Right here we have the SH Figuarts thong that a lot of people complain about, but it does allow for you to pretty much get out about 90 or forward about 90, and then you can go out right there. He has a thigh rotation, double bent at the knees, gets you really nice range, and then again another hinge and swivel, so you can go down all the way, you can go up pretty okay. You can swivel there at the top, and then you can also use some very nice ankle pivot. And finally, he has a toe joint. So the articulation on this figure, again, standard SH Figuarts, but it works very, very well. And then another cool thing I wanted to mention, it has like this little cup, I guess flat piece. So when you move it up, it gets out of the way. That's just a nice little detail. But yeah, again, standard SH Figuarts, but gets out of the range really nicely, and you can just kind of like make him look natural. He falls into poses, and very, very nice articulation overall, I would say. Now let's hop straight into Carnage's accessories. This is what's gonna make or break this figure, in my opinion, because considering the fact that this is a Carnage figure, he needs to have all those crazy weapons that he uses in the movie. In the movie, he used a bunch of axes, swords, machetes, I don't even know. He used a ton of weapons, and if these accessories don't reflect that, I think it's gonna overall bring the rating of the figure down a lot in a lot of people's eyes. Now, the accessories that we got, I do think are good. I think that they're all very, very well executed, but I want more, because when you get all of these accessories on him, he looks amazing. But again, I just wish that SHF gave us more. I would have been happy to pay another $15, $20, $30 if we got double, maybe triple the amount of accessories. That would have just put this figure over the top. Again, like I said earlier, the accessories that we do have are very, very nicely done. It leaves me wanting that little bit more. So for starters, he does come with 4 different pairs of hands, including the ones that he comes with in the packaging. So he comes with relaxed hands, splayed out, angry, I'm gonna murk you hands. He comes with a pair of fisted hands, and then he comes with a pair of sword hands, which I think are really cool, but I wish they were bigger. Again, I wish that we got more. In terms of other accessories, I guess, that aren't hands, he comes with technically 4 different pairs of interchangeable tentacles. I'm pretty sure they're all the same sculpt, but we do get 4 of those, and they are all articulated, which is pretty nice. As you can see, each one has 3 points of articulation. They're all the same point, or the same type of articulation, but you get a hinge and swivel at the end where the weapon attaches, you get a hinge and swivel in the middle, and then you get another hinge and swivel where it actually attaches to the figure. On that note, he does come with 4 different, completely different spike effects that go on each tentacle, which I think is really cool. I wish that we would have gotten some that were the same, just so you can get that kind of symmetrical look. But for Carnage, he's crazy. He's gonna make different stuff depending on, you know, his mood. So I'm fine with that. And then finally, he comes with a very nice yelling or angry, whatever you want to call it, screeching head with some very, very nice painting on the tongue with this very nice gloss, just making it look more wet, more grotesque, more evil alien. Now, showing you guys exactly how to put on the tentacles, it's really, really simple. You can put it on either way, so you can put it on this way and have the short end facing Carnage, or you can do the long way. I like the short end, but you just simply take it and you just start plugging stuff in pretty much. You can't really get much simpler than this. It's very tight out the box. As you can see, extremely tight out the box. There's 2, 3, and I'm not plugging them all the way just to show you guys. They do go in all the way, and then 4, and then they are fully posable, fully articulated. And again, if you want to get these, you go ahead and just plug those in wherever you want, in whatever order you see fit. There we go. 3, and the last one, 4. And you can get some really, really nice, crazy looks. He barely fits on frame. I'm gonna show it off better in a second, but I did want to, oh, there it goes. I did want to show you guys how to actually, I guess, apply the tentacles on him. taking, I guess what you could call, another look at the figure, this is what he looks like with all of his weapons fully attached. You have both of his swords, you have his screaming head, you have all 4 tendrils, and he looks awesome. The issue is, again, once you have all that, he's left pretty barren when it comes to accessories. And that's where I got into that. I want more out of the figure. I want to still have the ability to port in 2-3 more tendrils, get some like axes and stuff in there. But like I said, what we do have is done really, really nicely. Again, these are fully articulated. You can wrap them all the way around him if you want, get them all the way to his front. You can splay him all the way back. You can make him go super out, give him like that, maybe the church scene where he had like his arms crossed, his leg was up. You could do that if you wanted to. Like he looks and feels amazing with them on, and it adds another layer of, I guess, posability or dynamicness to the figure. But again, I do wish that we had more, but this is what he looks like with all of his I guess tendrils attached. And again, it's really cool. Love that they're articulated. And yeah, just wanted to show you that off to you guys. Now onto the issues. Every figure has them, and this one is no exception. And I say it in that tone because this figure internally has had me seething with rage. Not because of an issue of, I think, most people's copies, but with mine, Jesus, I'll get into it in a second. That'll be the last issue I talk about. So, turning him around, these not being replaceable, that is an issue. I'm never going to have it displayed without the tentacles, but the fact that you don't have the option to pop this back piece off and make it smooth, even though he was technically never like that in the movie, I think it's just aesthetically unappealing. I think that is a pretty big issue, especially if you did like the more sleek, slimmed down Carnage look. There is a subtle paint difference between the head. It might not show up all that well on camera, but between the head and the body is a lot more grainy, granulated, and this is closer of like an orange rather than a deep red, which again is not a terrible issue, but it is an issue that you guys should be made aware of. I honestly can't think of any other issues with this figure. Maybe this is not sculpted, that's too smooth, but that's like nitpicking, and you have that right there anyway. So now my issue, my personal struggle. I'm gonna show you guys. This leg has been constantly popping off on my figure ever since I got it. I tried fixing it with the super glue mod, and it just did not work, and I have been hiding it this entire review. When I was doing the articulation segment, I was squeezing that leg, make sure it doesn't pop off. But that has had me seething, because other than that, I absolutely adore this figure. There's no loose joints, but like bringing it, oh, now you don't want to do it, there we go, bringing it out, trying to bring it forward, and it just constantly popping off is just a major QC issue that I got on mine. Hopefully you guys will not get that, and I say that because this leg is beautiful. I love this leg. This leg is like Lego Spider-Man from Across the Spider-Verse, one of our best. But that QC issue just ruins. I've already ordered a new one off of Big Bad Toy Store. Check it out, that's where I got this figure. But that is just such an upsetting QC issue, because other than that, it's a perfect figure. I think I'm gonna say it is a perfect Carnage figure, and that is why when I do go into my rating of the figure, this QC leg will not affect it. You might get it, you might get this QC leg, and that is gonna be terrible, but I think that this is pretty standalone to my copy, and I just got really, really unlucky. But those, I would say, are the main issues with the figure, which again are not a lot. Even then, I was struggling to come up with more issues, but yeah, stuff that you should be made aware of right there. Now onto the things that I absolutely love about this figure. The head. The heads are beautiful. The way that they're painted with that slimy texture, and I know I said earlier that the paints don't match up. I don't mind it. I love that slimy texture on the eye, the yellowed teeth, the way that the red fades, or I guess the black fades into the red. I love these head sculpts. I love the screaming one as well. I think that those are amazing. Another thing that I love about this figure, again, it's just the paint application. It's so well done with the black veins. You have the red, you have an orange, I guess, spray on the top, giving it that extra layer of texture. I love that. I love, again, as I said, the texture. It's super grainy, super veiny, super evil monster that jumps out at you at night, and I think that that is so cool. Another thing that I really loved are these tendril effects. I love that they are fully articulated, and I love the way that they look on the figure from what I showed you guys earlier. I would say, again, I did want more, but other than that, I think I love those tentacles. These little like spewed out, I guess, effects are also really nice, and I love it. And then finally, I would say the thing that I love the most about this figure is how huge he is. Like, I love that he is so big. A lot of people prefer the smaller, thinner Carnage design, but this is like out of this world. Like, it's boggled my mind how awesome, and again, I keep saying this word, but monstrous this figure is. I love that this dude is like the stuff of nightmares. And then on another note, I just noticed this, all the joints, except for that, whatever, all the joints except for obviously that leg, because on mine I got a QC issue, super tight. You're not going to have any issues posing him, and they need to be tight because of the heft and weight of this figure. So I love the fact that all the joints are tight, not too tight, but they're like perfect. They're in the middle, they're smooth, and they hold poses. That's a goofy pose, but they hold poses very, very nicely. Now, moving on to size comparisons, and I did go ahead and pop on all the tentacle effects on Carnage because that's typically how most people are going to have them displayed. Venom is big, Carnage is bigger. This is an amazing size comparison. I think that the scale between both of them are perfect. I love how big Carnage is and how also big Venom is, but also small at the same time. I think that you're going to have an amazing time posing these two together, and I think that in any display, they're honestly going to look fantastic. Now, setting Carnage along who I think would be the perfect Spider-Man to go up against him, Andrew Garfield. In my mind, canonically speaking, these two are paired together along with Venom. This is the Carnage to Andrew's universe, in my opinion, and I'm going to have a blast posing these two around. I think that these two also look really, really good together, and Andrew being so small, this is a tall Mafex figure. Again, it exemplifies how huge Carnage is in general. He looks really good next to Andrew. Keeping it on that same note, let's finish off the No Way Home crew with Toby from SH Figuarts, as well as the newly released SH Figuarts Final Battle integrated suit, which I will be doing a review on soon, so stay tuned. But Andrew being the tallest, these two figures being pretty short Spider-Man, Carnage absolutely just towers over them. It's insane. Again, I cannot keep geeking out about this size. It's amazing. And just for the fun of it, let's put him next to Mafex Homelander, as well as itty bitty little Mafex Into the Spider-Verse Miles. That is just sad. And for just, I guess, one more basic size comparison, here he is next to the Mafex 75 Comic Spidey. Overall, I think that this is an extremely faithful representation of what Carnage looked like in Let There Be Carnage. And while the height might not be everybody's cup of tea, considering that it's not very comic book accurate, I personally really, really like it, and I think it adds a much bigger sense of dynamicness to the figure. And as I've said previously, just makes it that much more imposing. And while yes, there are some criticisms, obviously, I personally wish that we had more accessories. Maybe the paint isn't super consistent, but overall, I definitely think that the good on this figure outweighs the bad. And in a display, whether that be one for Let There Be Carnage or just a Spider-Verse display, his shelf presence is going to be absolutely unmatched, particularly when he is posed with other Spider-Man related figures. With all that being said, I'd say that this figure is sitting at a very chill 8.5 out of 10. Overall, I'm making this another extremely strong release in the SH Figuarts line. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to go ahead and support the channel, make sure you check out some of my other overviews up right now.
But don't worry, because if those aren't your thing, I will be doing more full-length reviews, so you might as well just subscribe now. Thank you guys again, and I will see you on the next one.